This is a video of real sustainable changes that I made that I'm hoping could help you. Hey, how's it going? My name's Megs and today we are going to be chatting about how I lost 36 kgs. Now what I'm about to say might be a little bit of an ugh moment to some people, and that's fine, I get it. I know what it's like searching for these videos, I've done it myself, but this is not a diet video. This is not a step-by-step guide. It could be seen as a guide, but it's not like do this on Monday, do this on Tuesday, lose 8 kgs in 8 weeks. It's not that kind of video. My intention with this video is to connect with people who can relate to any one part of this story because I get it, and I just would love to connect with people who get it too. You know, this experience has exponentially increased my lust for life, and seeing people regain or find that lust for life for themselves just is. And I do just want to flag that within this video there could be some triggering topics and or words, so if you feel like today's not my day for this, don't even worry about it. I would way rather you prioritize your health and click out, get away. So you do that, you look after you. Now I am going to do a bit of a background on me. It's not going to be a deep dive, don't worry, because then that would be an hour-long video, and we're not here for that. Don't worry, we're not doing that. Right now we are all living different weys, right? I mean, we're never starting from the same point with anything anyway in life. That's just the way life is, but especially with weight loss, because we all live different lifestyles and we all have a different perspective of what health is depending on what ideas we've subscribed to. So I think it's really important to give you some context so you can decide, you can draw your own conclusions on how big the changes were, because to some people they may be big changes and to others they may be small. So let's go back to the start. I have been overweight my whole life. I was an overweight child. I grew up overweight. You can kind of make some assumptions on what that experience was like as a child growing up overweight. One thing that was always a bit of a thing to me was going to the doctors because of stepping on the scales, because whatever concerns or issues I raised was often looped back to, well, if you lost weight, symptoms would be alleviated. Well, if you lost weight, these issues would go away. It was like this golden ticket. And I have PCOS, so a lot of the time it felt like, okay, you're telling me about this ticket, but it's at the top of this mountain and I'm stood here at base camp and there's no one around, and I don't have the tools, I don't have the equipment, I don't know, like, I haven't trained for this, I haven't prepared my mind for this. And by no means am I trying to discredit the doctors that I've seen throughout my life. I like the doctors I've seen throughout my life, I had a good relationship with them, but it just developed an association in my mind where the health world was telling me what to do, but not really giving any tangible tools that I could utilize to get there. And what that meant was that weight loss was forever this task, this looming chore, this means to an end, this goalpost sitting in some mist on a field that I could never quite make out. It was a destination, and it was like getting from A to B, but how on earth do I do that without a vehicle? And that is one of the keys in shifting perspective on weight loss, because it's not like I consistently felt like not enough in my life, but I certainly felt like I needed something else in order to achieve this task. Whether that be a product, a program, a person, a method, some secret sauce that I didn't know about. Now let's talk about diets. And when I say I've tried a lot, I am not exaggerating. The first diet I remember going on, I was about 12 years old. It was before high school, and it was like smoothie for breakfast, 2 slices of bread a day, that sort of vibe. Throughout my teens, I tried anything anyone was talking about in the magazines. A friend's sister's friend said that you should do detoxes, cleanses, not eating for a day, liquid diets, all the fads, all the crazes. Then in university I developed binge eating disorder, and that was a generally dark time for me anyway. It took a while for me to move away from that, but basically I would eat a lot and then I wouldn't want it in my body anymore, and it took a lot of work for me to understand my emotion that was tied to eating. I would like eat something at home and then later on in the day go and buy it again from the store just to like replenish the stocks at home so no one would know I've eaten it. I would also be very conscious of eating in public. I didn't want to eat in public, like especially if it wasn't healthy food. Like I'd be very aware of who was around me when I was eating, and I just felt a lot of guilt tied to that. Then towards the end of university, I had a year where I lost a lot of weight. I did a diet very strictly. I was going to the gym consistently. It was a high protein, low carb diet, low fat as well. And I lost 23 kgs in less than a year. And I thought that that would make me happy. And guess what? We got to the goal weight. Did it make us happy? No, because weight loss is not a solution to happiness. I kind of got to the end and I was like, oh, I don't feel how I thought I would feel at this point. What's going on? And then I put a lot of weight back on in the following year. Fast forward a couple of years, I'm working in my first job. This is where I would say the start of the self-love, self-compassion, self-understanding experience began. The whole like body positivity community and all that was very new on Instagram, and I started just following some pages and people and seeing like bodies that move, cellulite, skin texture, but it was all attached to people who were so happy and radiant and dancing and like loving life. I was like, oh, this is intriguing. I wonder what they got. What are they doing? What's happening over here? Now, of course, weight is an easy metric. It's a go-to metric. It's something that is just there. It's a number. It's easy to grab. But a lot of it for me was qualitative. How do I feel when I'm exercising? One of the main things for me was that I wanted to feel at home in my body. I had always had this detachment between mind and body. I didn't feel like at one, at peace, at home in my own body. Now with weight loss goals, let's not try and lose weight faster than it's sustainable. Been there, got the t-shirt, not fussed about going back. And like I've been there. I was always that person to be like, okay, by that date I could have lost 6.5 kgs if I start tomorrow. You know, you've got to look at why you're motivated to lose weight. I just wanted to feel like this is me, this is my body, I get a say. And let's not get that confused with a lack of confidence. I think I always had an element of confidence, definitely felt insecure and self-conscious, but like I always put myself together, I always carried myself a certain way. So we're not getting that confused, but I definitely wanted to feel like, yeah, this is me. So then you go, oh, okay. So this is a longer term journey than 6 weeks. This is, we're talking about 20 odd years here that we need to address. One thing I am a big believer in is visualization. I love a vision board. I've got my vision board in my diary, on my door up there before I leave. I've got it on the side of my bedside table so I see it before I go to bed. I've got it on my lock screen. That being said, what I don't believe in at all is using an old photo of yourself to motivate you or inspire you on what you want to look like. I don't know about you, but if I look at a photo of myself from a couple of years ago, a few years ago, most of the time I can take myself there to that place and time that's captured in the photo. So then why are we trying to chase the past? You got to ask yourself that. Because what's that telling your brain? You're basically saying that the past was better than the future, or the present at least. So how are you then going to turn around and make positive change when your inspiration is rooted in what could have been or what you could have looked like today? Being mad at that past version of yourself for changing from that past version of yourself serves no purpose to any of us. It's just rooted in negativity. And if your roots are sitting in this toxin, how can you be expected to bloom? Switching your focus and realizing that the body you're in right here, right now is what you're working with. And I'm not saying that as a task or a chore. I'm saying it's what you are working with. It's who you are. Those pictures of the old you from years ago when you lost all that weight, they're long gone. They're long gone. Look how much you've evolved since then. So what, are you saying that you want to give up everything that's happened since then? All the experiences, all the achievements, everything that's happened in your life since in order to look that way? Even if you've gone through the most painful experience of your life, you are stronger today because of that experience. So you're telling me you want to give up that strength in order to physically look the way you did then? If you want that visualization of a different body, use a different body and put your head on it. Okay? Because this is the excitement about the future we're talking about. We're not like looking at old you going, I want to go back there. No, we don't want to go back there. I like the vision of you today. Let's keep working on that. And when I say that, I'm not talking about your physical. I'm talking about the whole you. I'm talking about your mind, body, spirit, the package, everything you have to offer, your personality. Let's keep developing that. I really hope that this makes sense because I'm shaking. I'm so passionate about it. Now, at my heaviest, I was 108 kgs. If ever anyone asks me, you know, like, how did you lose weight? Or I want to lose weight, what should I do? First steps. The first thing I say is stop thinking about losing weight. Honestly, stop thinking about losing weight, because all it ever did for me is create this resistance around it. What I say, and just flagging again, not a doctor, personal opinion, just what worked for me. The first step is about taking control of other things in your life and reducing stress. Stress has a lot to answer for, doesn't it? I didn't want external things to control me anymore. I wanted to feel in control. And it's that switch of jumping over from the passenger seat into the driver's seat and going, the wheel's in my hands. And that in turn alleviates stress, because when you feel like you're in control, these other things that were usually like stressing me out and coming and like surrounding me and my world just felt like, oh, I can do that and that, and that will get rid of that. I can address that by doing X, Y, Z. You know, so that's that feeling of control. So let's look at some things I started to do. I'm going to look at my notes. Sorry, so rude. First thing is I started folding my clothes in the Marie Kondo style. If you don't know, look it up. Very, very satisfying. I've been doing it for a few years now. Making my bed every morning when I wake up. The only thing that I think that I have to do is making my bed. You feel accomplished before you've even started your day. Developed a skincare routine, and it just made me feel like this is my time in the evening, a little self-love time. Consistently drank water. At the moment, I sort of aim for 3 or 4 liters a day, but I think at the time it was like 2 liters. I just wanted to consistently hit that mark. And preparing my lunch in a bulk cook way. So every Sunday I would bulk cook up very basic meal like meat and veg or something like that, and then put it into little Tupperware boxes like meal prep, chuck them in the fridge, so that every day when I went to work, all I had to do was grab this lunch and go to work. As you can tell, that's sort of just building like some order and control in your home environment and feeling like you're on top of things. Now, one of my main stresses at the time was the relationship I was in. That's a story for another day. Another stress I had was my job. So I was working a job that wasn't fulfilling to me. It wasn't like I was jumping out of bed like I have a purpose. So I kind of was looking at these things around me going, nah, something's got to give. So I quit my job, ended that relationship, packed up all my stuff, sold a bunch of stuff. This was all in one like sweeping 3 months. And then I moved to London to pursue a complete career change. This was all 2019 as well, so really good timing. Other more like day-to-day or week-to-week things that I started to do to alleviate stress was moving my body in ways that just felt good. I didn't put any pressure on myself to burn a certain amount of calories, do 45 minutes or 1 hour, or do workouts 4 times a week or anything like that. No, I just did like some light walking and yoga. The aim wasn't to lose weight. The aim was I want to feel good. Now, a couple of other things I started to do that were really important to me in connecting mind and body was, one, in the evenings I would stand in the mirror, and this is so funny saying this out loud. I would look at my belly, because my belly was one thing I never liked, ever. And I'd just hold it and I'd be like, I love you. In the mirror, I'd just look at it and be like, I love you. You know, my body does so much for me. You know, every step I've taken has been on these feet. Everything I've carried has been with these arms. You know, just practicing, I guess it's gratitude. Just slowly started to make me feel like, okay. The other thing I did, which I hadn't done before, is sleep naked. And maybe that's a bit out of the box again, but just like, it's my space, it's my body, it's my life. You know, I'm telling you, like, this is me. What all these little bits and bobs added up and equaled was a really big moment for me. So I'm 25 at this point, and I had never worn a bikini, and it was a really big thing to me because I always felt so self-conscious. I never liked my belly ever. My friends had never seen it. I felt so like, oh, I just don't like this part of me. And I was traveling with my friend, and I wore a bikini for the first time, and it was just so big to me because that was that real step of like, yeah, this is me. And I didn't feel 100% confident doing it, but I did it, and that's the point. You know, I had built this sense of, this is my body, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing, and it was like a liberating experience. So what I'm trying to say is that that first bracket, yeah, I lost 15 kgs because stress has a lot to answer for, and prepping my lunches and doing some light exercise, that really helped in just like building some momentum. But the confidence that I gained in just freeing myself of this task was like, and I just felt good. Okay, so let's look at this next bracket, 93 to 78 kgs. I definitely made more of an explicit effort in this bracket towards like lifestyle and what works for me, getting to know my body, and fitness was a big goal for me because, I mean, growing up, I had always had this thing of like, I'm going to prove you wrong, like don't judge a book by its cover. And there's a quote that I love from the song Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen, Baz Luhrmann, and it's like, use your body every way you can. It's the greatest instrument you will ever own. And I really, you know, that sits close to my heart because I I have felt restricted by my body in the past, and I just don't want to feel like that. So I wanted to improve my fitness so that if I wanted to run to the end of that field, I could, you know. One thing I started to do was weigh myself every day because I still had some emotion attached to my weight, and I just wanted it to be a number on a screen, and it just was matter of fact. I didn't care. That was the goal. So I weighed myself at the same time in the morning naked to have some consistency. Like it's a science experiment. And it also helped me understand how my body reacts to different foods. So now I know, like if I have like pizza for dinner, the number on the scale is going to be higher in the morning. And I don't get caught up on the fluctuations, whereas before I'd be like, oh my gosh, what a mistake I made last night. What an idiot. You know, like it would derail me. But now it doesn't. It's just like, oh, okay, I know that. If I'm on my period, if I eat salty foods, if I don't have much water, I'm going to feel low energy and a bit puffy tomorrow. Maybe a bit sluggish, and then in turn, because I feel sluggish, I'm not going to have much motivation to get up and go for a run. That sort of connection just started to become apparent. Now, during this period, I definitely tried a few diets. One of them was Fast 800, and I did take a learning from that in terms of calories, because I had never really got into the crux of what calories was until this. So now I can sort of understand a metric of energy levels of foods. So then like I would try and have a lower energy dinner so that I was more tired so that I could get to sleep easier and therefore have a better sleep. Those were sort of the learnings I took from a diet like Fast 800. But in terms of calorie counting, to me, it just feels like it's the line you cross from feeling like, is this a tool or is this making me feel restricted? You've got to just, I feel like you've just got to understand your own brain and how you view things. I also tried intermittent fasting and intuitive eating, and what this sort of led to was I landed in a place where I could go, I'm going to sort of do like an intuitive eating thing. I don't really feel hungry until mid-morning, so I guess it's like intermittent fasting, but I'm not going, okay, I've got 2 hours until I can eat. What am I going to eat when I hit that mark, you know? Like it was just like, okay, do I feel hungry? Okay, I've got this chocolate bar, or I could make some eggs. How is that going to react to my energy levels? Am I going to peak and then absolutely crash? Am I going to feel sustained? I would eat at least 2 hours before bed because I was really trying to build on some good sleep and focus on energy levels and reactions, like I say, on the scales. So eating 2 hours before bed just gave me that digestion time, and I felt like my energies could come and then like mellow out. I don't know. That's not scientifically proven. That's just my theory. Maybe part of it is trial and error, but I just think you've got to get to know your brain and then like what works for you, because there is no way that I'm living a life without cookies. You know what I mean? Like it's not one or the other, and I think that's addressing the perspective change. Another thing I started doing was jogging, and I had never considered myself a jogger ever in my life, but basically I was so fueled with anxiety and stress. It was in lockdown times that I was like, right, I'm taking myself for a walk after work today, and I was just walking around the block, and I got to a certain point and I was like, this walk ain't cutting it. I am buzzing, like whew, what is going on in my chest? So I was like, let me just run to the lights. So I ran to the lights, and then I got there and I was like, I could keep going. Like, what is going on? I am fueled. So then I just kept jogging, and eventually I found myself back at home. So then what that became was each time I went to do that, I would start jogging from one house number sooner, one letterbox sooner. So I call it like letterbox jogging. So eventually I built up to this 3-kilometer jog, and I was like, I could jog 3 kilometers. Like it was a big thing for me. It felt like such an accomplishment. I was like, oh my gosh, I can jog. I didn't care about how long it took. I didn't care like about any of the other metrics. I was just like, oh my gosh, I did it. Then I did a 5-kilometer run, and I was like, I can run 5 kilometers, you know, like, so it kind of shocked me. I was like, oh, I can do this. I just want to emphasize that it felt great when I did this, and that is what I was focusing on, that feeling of woo, that euphoria, that accomplishment. It felt good in my body. There are other exercises that I could do that I just don't enjoy, like rowing machines at the gym. Not for me. So I'm not going to force myself to do that because I want to feel good in my body. So now let's talk about this last bracket, 78 to 72. At the moment, I hover around 72 with some fluctuations depending on a lot of different life elements. And it's interesting because I've kind of gone full circle in a way. At the moment, because I've lost this weight, I've got some saggy skin on my lower stomach, and it is something that I feel a bit like meow about, I'll be honest, because And it's a battle between, is this a vote for self-love or against self-love? Because I want to change that. I have some aspirations to tone up, and I don't want to feel guilty about that. And so it's full circle, because I've kind of come back to my objective being ownership of self. I want to feel like, yeah, this is my body. I don't care if my goals and aspirations change, because that's life. We all evolve, we all change, our perspectives change all the time. And I just want to say, like, loving yourself isn't a linear journey. It's all over the map, and it's not a destination either. So I think it's like having a little bit of compassion for yourself and understanding that, okay, yeah, past you would have said that that's a vote against self-love, but current you is saying, no, you've come so far and you understand yourself in a different way now. It's okay to have aspirations to tone up for cosmetic reasons. So what my week to week looks like at the moment is I still do my bulk cooking, and I drink 3-4 litres a day. I exercise 4 times a week at least, not because I have a marker on 4 times, just because I've noticed that if I don't work out, I start to feel that pent up energy and get stressy. It's a great stress buster for me, going for a run or going to the gym. And actually on that, gym membership is something that I had always felt guilty about. I never wanted to pay to exercise, because I was like, I shouldn't be paying to exercise. Like, that's so like naughty. But now I'm like, no, like if I want to prioritize this time for me, this is important to me. I love going to the gym. I love having that time to myself, and it feels good. Then why can't I pay to go and do that on a monthly basis? So I think it's like addressing that, the hang-ups that I have in my mind. That's probably where I'm at the moment to continue on this journey. Who knows what I'll look like in 6 months? Who knows where I'll be mentally in 6 months? All I know is that I've got a few things that I want to achieve this year in this space that I am working on not feeling guilty about. I want to run a half marathon this year. I want to bring my resting heart rate down. I want to bring my cardio fitness score up on Fitbit. I want to consistently drink water. I want to consistently get a good night's rest. In terms of diet, I am vaguely aware of like calorie value of foods, but it's not something that dictates what I eat. I might have like 2-3 meals a day depending on my hunger levels. I'll have like veg, meat, carbs, sort of balanced. I don't really drink alcohol anyway. I would at like a birthday, or like if we're going out for a nice dinner or something like that, but I'm not really a drinker. But I'm not giving that up. You know, it's all about moderation. It's about understanding yourself. I know that if I've got a packet of biscuits in the pantry, I'm going to eat them. So it's like, okay, I'll buy the smaller packet. I'm not living with restrictions in my life. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. You can train for a half marathon and still eat your cookies. I really, really hope that this makes sense. I hope you can tell also that I'm very passionate about this topic. This is something that is very close to me. I've been putting up, this is the 3rd time I've sat down to make this video, because I've been scared about like the reaction to it, or nervous about like just being like pulled apart. I don't know why, it's stupid. But if you did enjoy the video, please let me know. Put me at ease. And you already know what I'm about to say. If you've made it this far, please hit one of those golden buttons. I'm not even going to say the name because you know what they are, but it would mean a massive amount to me. Until next time, have a goodie. Bye.